Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to part two of the tutorials to sort of get you used to all the basic tools that you probably will need to use in Onshape. You have not missed loads of work, so please don't freak out that what I'm showing you now is, you've missed loads of steps in between, because actually this isn't the case. What I'm showing you now is what we would like to end up achieving by the end of this tutorial. So this is just using another couple of basic tools to get us somewhere a little bit more professional looking. Okay, now Onshape is a piece of engineering software, and it is possible to use this for all sorts of things like 3D printing and stuff like that. So this is pretty much how a lot of the professional software works these days. So for instance, things like SolidWorks works in an incredibly similar way to this. So if you can master this program, you can probably learn how to use SolidWorks rather easily. And SolidWorks is used for all sorts of things and can be doing lots and lots of different things, like putting real-world parameters on. You can apply pressures, you can change materials properties, all that kind of stuff, and it is used widely in industry now. So this is a really good way to get you upskilled and ready to get on with that sort of stuff. So now it looks very different, but that's because I have done a few bits. But as I say, this is what I'd like you to end up achieving, and I wanted to show you another couple of things that would be quite useful too. So to start us off, if we look over on this left hand side, if I select any, or just hovering over any of these things, now what these are is these are all the things that I've asked it to do. So you will recognize from the first tutorial the sketch to do a square, the extrude to make it into a cube shape, the sketch 2 was to put a circle onto one of the faces, and extrude was to remove the material from the middle. Now there are lots of different things you can do to sort of go back, but the history in Onshape is stored all the time. So over here, this is what all the steps we've done, and we can access the history, and looking at the features and parts, and the history sort of lives up here, where we can do different things. Now if you wanted to take away a particular thing that you've worked on, let's go through and perhaps look at our first set of fillets, perhaps. No, let's have a look at our chamfers. So if I wanted to take away those chamfers, what I could do is just delete that part. Now that can sometimes mess up our model, so we don't want to do that too much. But the easiest, the simplest way to go back as many steps as you like is to hold down the control button, which is in the bottom left hand corner of your keyboard, and press Z, or if you ever watch an American tutorial, it will say Z, and you can literally just go back as many steps as you need to remove all the bits that you've done. So this is what you'll recognize as what we did last time. So this is a cube with a hole all the way through the middle, and we're just going to set that up. Now the next couple of things we need to do, I need to introduce you to a couple of tools. The first one is a fillet tool, and the second one is a chamfer tool. Now a fillet tool, if we look up here, it's a rounded corner. A chamfer is a straight edge, almost like you've used a tool like a chisel or something like that to take a straight edge off. Okay, so we're going to start off with a fillet tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that, and we're just going to do a little bit of setting up before I touch anything on the shape. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as a circular. It doesn't know what we're doing yet, so it is orange, so don't worry about that just yet. We're going to set the radius to 10 millimeters, and then we're just going to I'm going to leave it like this for a moment, but we're going to need to orbit in a second. So what we're going to do, where it's got here entities to fillet, we're going to just select the line that we want it to follow. So here's a line, here's a line, here's a line. Now I can't see the last side, so I'm just going to hold down my right hand button on my keyboard, on my mouse pad on my laptop, and then I can orbit around. Now if you're lucky enough to have a mouse, a full-on mouse, there are some easy functions you can use. So you can use the rollerball to scroll backwards and forwards, that will get you your zoom functions, and if you click that down and then move your mouse around, you can orbit around your 3D model just like this. Okay, anybody that's using a laptop, it's right click on your mouse pad and then move your mouse around, and that will allow you to see it from different angles. Okay, so that's us for now. I'm just going to put it back into isometric properly so that you can see it properly. Okay, so we've done multiple fillets all at the same time, and they're all listed here. So if we wanted to take one of them away, we could do by deleting that, but we're not going to. We're just going to click the tick to accept that. So nice round edges, that's all good. The next job we're going to do some chamfering. Okay, now the computer will help us out. It will try and understand what we're trying to do. We can limit it, but at the moment we're not going to worry too much about that. So I'm going to pick up the chamfer tool, try to spit my words out. I'm going to leave it as a 5mm chamfer, and again we're going to leave this alone, and we're just going to select on the model itself. So if I select this edge, it will assume that I want to do it all the way around, so it's going to just follow that all the way around, which is nice. And then I'm going to select the circle as well, so that will be another one. Okay, and if I just flip it over, I can do the same on the other side, and that is the main bulk of what we wanted to do today. So that's a nicely set up piece. So again, if I put it back into a nice isometric view, I can look at it properly, and then we might need to click the green tick to accept that, and there you go. You've got a nice looking, more grown-up looking thing, where we can select all sorts of different edges and sides and do different things to them if we wanted to. For now, what we're going to do, we're just going to create a couple of things that are called bosses. So these are what we would describe as a male part, because they stick out. I'm going to let you make your own jokes about why that is male or female. So we're just going to come back over here. We're going to sketch some more parts because we do need to sketch for this particular bit. So sketch plane isn't highlighted yet, but it will be in a moment. So we're just going to hover over this side because that's the side we want to deal with, and that's now selected, so that's all in there. Okay, so again, that goes yellow if I hover over it. I'm going to pick up my circle tool, a bit like we did when we put a hole all the way through, and again it's going to try and help you out. So when it's in line with the origin, it's going to give you a little orange box and give you the connector symbol, and we're going to drag that out. What we want this time is a diameter of roughly 15mm, well, exactly 15mm actually. So I'm going to press D to dimension it again, so that brings up our dimensioning tool up here. Select the circle and drag away. That will then tell me what it is, which is 18 at the moment, so I'm just going to change that to 15, and that will resize it for me. That's all the drawing I want to do on that side, so I'm going to select to accept that one. We'll extrude it, so we're going to be putting on new material, so that's good. So we've got that selected. Click on just the circle, and that will automatically come out because that's its default setting, which is ideal, and we are going to leave that as about 25mm because that seems about right to me. So we're going to just accept that one. So there you go. So if you were to put a peg on something or show a dowel being extruding from something, that would be a way to do that. And we're going to just fillet that again because we want to make it look a little bit more professional. So we're going to select the fillet tool. I'm going to set that to 6mm as a radius, and we're just going to select the parts that we want. So again, we can select multiple parts. So I'm going to select this bottom section, and because it's intersecting with another face, that's going to put a nice curve that way onto the piece. And if I select the top edge, there is nothing else it's touching, so it's going to automatically round that for us. Okay, so if we accept that, that's how your boss would look. Okay, and we're just going to practice that, so we're going to spin around and do exactly the same on the other side. So we'll go to sketch, select the plane we want, select the tool we want, find the middle, which it does for us, pull it out to roughly 15, well it's not 15 but still, press D to dimension, select it, drag away, and 15 is the diameter we want. So that's all sorted. Select to accept that one. Then we're going to extrude again. So this is just exactly practicing what we did on the other side. So we're going to do it blind, we're going to do 25mm, we're going to add to it, so that's good. Click to accept that, and then go around with our fillet tool, which is set as 6mm radius, and click on the bottom, click on the top corner, and accept that. And then, oops, I don't know why I was doing that. That should be what we wanted to achieve. So if I put that back into an isometric shape, we can look at that nicely. And that is where we wanted to end up by the time we got to this stage. So we're not going to save that, we are just going to stop it. And that is our tutorial 2 done. I hope it made some sense for you. Okay, thank you.